Hello. Welcome, welcome. It is 3. We are excited to be here. Thank you so much for joining us. We will wait 4 more minutes before we dive into our session today, which is centered around marketing. Um, there are a couple things that I will be sharing with you all today. Um, Welcome, everyone. Hi, Bernadette.
Good afternoon, Chris Beth. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
Afternoon, and
How are you, everybody?
doing well.
Good,
Doing
good.
well.
I'll be back in 3 minutes. I got to heat up my tea. It's been a long day.
Hey, you're welcome to do so. And how is your day going so far?
My day is going well. I'm tired. I took a break from my paperwork to jump in to
Hey,
this Zoom. So this is
hey,
my little break and my tea.
hey. Hey, we all got some tea that time of day.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if the Contigo mugs are really good. I find sometimes by the ending up of the day it's lukewarm, but it definitely holds if you haven't opened it, it holds the heat. Um, but yes.
Yeah, so does my cup. It holds the heat for like a good little while because you're always like jumping around, right?
Yes.
And eventually you need something warm and a little moment. My little tongue.
Yes.
It's amazing. Can't lie about that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good to keep it warm. If I don't have a
No.
tea, I'm not a person. I have to have that tea to get going.
I hear you. I don't drink coffee, so tea is kind of my go-to. But definitely, um, yeah, it's the warmth. I think I need that warmth in my system at some point in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I'm trying to close as many windows as possible so that we are able to just run through all of the above tools and systems for you all. Hello, welcome. We are going to get started in a minute. I was just sharing, yeah, we're going to be looking at some tools and systems. So I'm trying to have those things open for you all sooner rather than later. Um, and closing some windows to make sure that it's smooth. So I'm just gonna pull up, share my screen. You should be able to see my screen. It loads. Okay, perfect. So welcome everybody. I'm really excited. It is day 15 of 24. We're making it. We're moving the dial. I'm super excited that folks have been coming back, and again, take what you need. To move the dial. If you're refreshing, if this content is already known to you, take it as okay, I'm on the right track. If you need to relearn something, if you need to unlearn something to learn something new, the marketing business is ever changing. So it's on us to be mindful about being present in the moment to apply stuff that we can then transition and support our growth as well. So today we're talking about marketing, and where I wanted to start the session is centered around marketing is all about customers. And if you're not familiar with the business model Canvas, it is a one-pager tool that you can find online to help guide you in terms of being able to map out your entire business model and then begin testing the business model as well. So customer relationship section focuses on how do we continue to attract in relation to the channel section as well. So channel is the mediums that you're going to be utilizing to gain customers. Customer relations, we're hunkering down about effective use of attracting customers, keeping customers, and then retaining them as loyal clientele as well. So I'm going to show you. So this is our version of the business model Canvas. You can see there's various sections on here. So over the past little bit around business foundations, we talked about some of the costs associated with our business. We talked about, the problem, the solution, the value proposition. We talked about the customer, and today we are diving into the customer relations. As I mentioned, the channel section is typically related for us to say, okay, I know I can effectively sell to my customers on LinkedIn, or I know I can effectively build momentum and traction on LinkedIn and drive people to my website where they can convert. I know I can use Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you're using, the channels, identifying that channel is very important. Today, I had a conversation with a client, and on her website, she didn't have a blog. And I want to just say blogs are very essential to help with your website going from just being a static website to a website that is active, right? So every time you put on a new blog or update, Google loves that websites are dynamic and flowing, right? So I would say as a channel for all of us, even if you're thinking about building out your thought leadership on LinkedIn or other channels, make sure you're posting to your website on the blog or article section first, and then subsequently repost, simplify on those other mediums, right? Remember, you don't necessarily own Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these things. Yes, you have a space that may be for free, but someone says if you're getting anything for free in this digital economy, that means you're the product, right? So they're selling your stuff in order to make a profit long term. So the other thing is channels from a website domain perspective, that's your own. Like you have ownership over that. When Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp had gone down a couple of years ago, you couldn't access that data, right? So it is important to be mindful of what do you own and what is, out in free spaces that you can leverage to reach your clients in that way. So always your own domain is your best friend, I would say. And then, as I mentioned, we're diving into the customer segment today, customer relationship. So when we're thinking about the customer relationship, the question is, what are you going to do to build a strong, seamless relationships with your customer? Marketing is about first and foremost, bringing attention to your business, right? To your product, to your service, to yourself. When you look at, let's say, a month's worth of activity, there was no brand awareness building, there was no awareness in terms of bringing attention to your business, that is where I would say we need to start. Remember, I said we don't have a money problem, it's a conversation problem. And we have a conversation problem because not enough people know about us, right? So when we look at the customer journey, there are 5 key areas that we look at. The first one is around awareness, right? How am I bringing awareness to my product or service? Yes, they are competitors, but we have to be able to solve an answer for that, right? The next stage is around consideration. You can even think about your own journey about buying a product or service that you recently did. You probably you're like, oh, I need this thing. So you became aware of the need, the pain point. Okay, so I'm now going to go check Walmart. I'm checking Amazon. I'm checking Temu. I'm checking. So the truth is, because we're inundated with so much information and content, that consideration stage, we need to make sure that we're engaging with customers effectively. And this is where lead magnets, if they give you an email, it's not just your email and buy, you're dripping them content that they would keep you top of mind. Because guess what's going to come afterwards? They're going to make a decision. They're going to say yes. They're going to say no. They're going to say maybe later. Very few say no, never, don't come back and try to sell to me, right? So we have to understand that it is okay for our customers to say, no, I'm not interested today, right? I have customers that have come, we've engaged in conversation, and, they said, hey, Chrisbeth, I'll keep this in mind for future. And 6 months later, future comes. They're like, I need you. I need you. So we're very happy when, you're not pressurizing everybody that you enter into conversation with to say buy, right? You want to make sure that the value that you're going to be delivering is there as well for them. But we have to make sure that we're making offers, right? And another conversation today where, our customer is networking, building relation, but she has never said, this is what I offer. Would you be interested? We're not making an offer, right? So if we're not making offers, we're just assuming that people would buy from us, and that is not, it's not a good mix, right? So the next one is when people say yes, we want to make sure that we are delivering great service. We are onboarding them seamlessly. We are, figuring out what else, potentially that they need help with, all of those pieces. But we want to make sure that we're delivering excellent service and value to the customer. And the last stage is around loyalty. I think I've shared this already. The next best customer is the customer we already serve. And how fitting or how good it is to have our customers turn into advocates and champions for our brand. So this is where, when we're thinking about our business, we shouldn't just look at that customer as one and done. Could we leverage them to be, if there's nothing we could cross-sell or upsell them to, but could we leverage them to be part of our campaigning team to bring in new business as well? So I'm going to pause for a quick second to see if anyone has any questions, comments, or thoughts on the customer journey, the 5 elements.
Yeah, I put something in the chat.
1 second, sorry. So we will not be, I will talk about the lead magnet today, but we could definitely, I'll save that towards the end where we could talk about that specifically, for sure. Yeah, that's a great one. So one of the things, so I'll go to the next slide here. And so this is just some ways that you may want to, here are some elements to process how you connect in a meaningful way to your customers. Something for consideration here, but where I wanted to bring us was this. And so this is, if you haven't seen this before, it is it's called a customer journey map, and we just covered the 5 stages. When we do go through the process of engaging with this customer journey map, you will see that there are sections on this side. So I'll just read through them very quickly and talk about them also very quickly for the purposes of where we are today. So customer action. So and we'll focus on the awareness, because that's where a lot of us, we want more customers, right? If you want more customer, put yes or raise your hand. Let me know you want more customers. Yes. Okay. So we will start at the awareness stage. We only have an hour, but each of these require some thought and dedication towards. You will have this deck so that you can look at this as an example and make some decisions from here. This is super high level. But you could see at the awareness stage, the customer is seeing an online ad. They're seeing some sort of social media campaign, or they might have heard about it from a friend, right? The touch point, something that I heard recently from Daniel Priestley, it takes about 7 hours of content, whether video or reading content, over 11 touch points, right? Consuming 7 hours of content, over 11 touch points across 4 social media channels before somebody converts. So the question I have for all of us is, do we have 7 hours of content to be consumed? Right? And a touch point, good question. A touch point is, hey, I'm scrolling on Insta. Oh, I see Jacqueline's service. I'm on my, let's say you were running ads. I put in a search on Google, your ad comes up. Right? So those are the touch points. I'm on YouTube or I'm on TikTok and I'm seeing video. So touch points are where can people find you? Right? Where can people potentially engage with you in that way? So those are the touch points. Media, word of mouth. And it could be, as you see, though your friends could be advocating. Word of mouth is really huge. Jacqueline.
I've been, so word of mouth is okay. Like I have the word of mouth. I want to just do other things. Like I want to be able to get more. But then I'm also, okay, so I suck at social media, but I'm going to try and get better. But if like we have to have short content, like 30 seconds to a minute kind of thing, and you're telling me we have to have 7 hours, that's a whole heap of work.
Yeah. Hey, when I heard it, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
It is, but and the person was buying a Louis Vuitton bag and other products. So actually that stat came out of Google. He was saying that Google was tracking somebody's interactions on the web, how they're going. And it literally boiled down. The average was 7 hours of content was consumed over 11 different, time periods that person engaged, and then across 4 social media platforms. So again, that, being able to have what is considered like that omnipresence type vibe on social media. It doesn't have to be like that for you. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So how do you simplify? How do you engage? So one of the things, and I love where you are right now, Jacqueline, you're saying, word of mouth is really working for me. One of the things I will say to you is consider building out a strong referral program, because that is a means to bring you more clients. Sometimes I see people have one path that's working and they say, I want to do so much more. And I say, is the one path that you have right now bringing you the amount where you're saying, listen, we need a second body or a third body? And it doesn't always have to get to that point, but at what point would you say, I've built a system for referral, it's working like clockwork, it's hands off, people can sign, because maybe you do a payout, maybe you're doing something to give the incentivize it, so that has the ability to continue to grow on its own when you now could dedicate to a new channel, right? So that's where for us, if you have a referral system as part of your channel, let's build that out strong. So if anybody refer word of mouth, hey, when you go to Jacqueline, tell them Chris Bet sent you, like, all of these things, so that Jacqueline knows, okay, Chris Bet is sending me clients. Is there a way that I'm easily able to track it? So maybe it's part of your onboarding for new clients, different things. So it's seamless, so that is a viable means to generate clients. Sometimes the problem is we don't structure our word of mouth into a referral program, which would be the next step of that I would say for you, Jacqueline, whereby you have it's literally an engine that's working for you. So everybody that's bought, all friends and family, hey, become my number one advocate. You earn a commission while you share the news or something. I don't know, some industries you cannot do that, but how can we ensure that people who are aware of our brand, if they want to tell, it's easy, simple, and accessible for them to share that word?
So that's structure a referral process.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, referral process, referral program, depending on how you build it out, right? One of the tools that you can utilize, and this is for everybody on the line, it is a company one-pager, right? Hey, this is my company description. These are the people that I help with these specific pain points, and then a list of your service and things like that. It helps your word of mouth people know, hey, Jacqueline is the person, right? And they don't even have to say anything. It's like, girl, read this flyer. Girl, this thing is for you, right? So something to consider. Easy, simple, and repeatable. It should be repeatable. Awesome. So that's touch points here. The customer experience. When we do this map, and I always encourage people to do it once to kind of map out all of your elements. And then if you have customers, let your customers fill it out. So a question here would be, hey, how did you find out about my business, right? And then they could say, oh, I heard about it from somebody. Where did you meet that person? Like get a little bit of background in that way. How did you feel about when you were looking for a solution like mine? Because we want to know, remember what I shared, people buy because of emotions oftentimes. They buy logically as well. But if you can tap into the emotions people are experiencing, right? So Jacqueline, I'm thinking about you. You're thinking about going into the courtroom, but you're filled with fear and you don't really know where to go. You should be using these language so people could see themselves when they show up on your website, when they show up on your social media, or wherever you choose to broadcast yourself. You need to be talking about the experience, about the emotions that's attached in those time periods. And part of it, let's say they came to you, Jacqueline, and I'll use you as an example. So going through your process, they were considering other people, they were curious, excited, and then guess what? Once I'll say Jane, I wouldn't say your service, Jacqueline. Sometimes when we deliver services, it's so clunky. People are frustrated, they're mad, all of this stuff. We want to know how the customer is feeling so that we could make improvements as well. So that's what is being communicated on there. And then clearly it was satisfied. They're back to excited again, right? This becomes a loyal customer for us. So this tool around the customer journey map, I encourage each of you to use it for yourselves, and you will get a copy of this link as well. So key performance indicators. We are doing a lot, right? The question is, are we getting a return on investment for ourselves and our business activities? So you invested in a website, and I strongly encourage people to utilize websites. Is the website doing its job, right? Are we tracking how many number of people are being reached? Here it is, let's say you have, of 50 people that are singing your praise all the time. Are they singing your praise all the time? Do I check in with the people who have considered to be brand advocates? How do I know if they're brand advocates? Maybe you're able to see, okay, everybody's saying this person's name, so I'm going to check in with that person, right? What are you doing? Why, how are you encountering these people in that way to be able to understand that whatever activity we're doing, so if you're on social media, is your reach increasing? Whatever it is, when it comes to marketing, it's the ultimate thing for us is customer acquisition or conversions, right? The same thing, right? We want people to go along this journey to come to this point where they make a decision to say yes to us. So whatever marketing activities you're doing, if you do not present that, come to that point of decision making, your system is not working properly, right? It should be a flow of, hey, somebody started at point A, right? Let's say they went onto our social media, and from our social media, they went to our website, and then from our website, they had the booking, the buy now button. In the onboarding call, we were able to support them, all of these things, and then they were able to do additional activities, right? But we want to make sure that whatever we're doing along this customer journey, it comes back to this key piece. Are people converting? What is my ROI or return on investment? So the other piece is around business goals, right? And so understanding at each stage, we want to identify why we are doing that specific activity, right? Hey, I want to bring awareness, attention to my brand. I want to increase visitors to the website. I want to increase conversion. I want to increase building out my tribe, or whatever you call your group of people. But again, we want to make sure that it's tied to an output, right? And then the last one, I know many of us are sometimes solopreneurs or working in small teams. It is important to assign roles and responsibility to the different activities. And if your name, like my name a couple years ago, fell on all of the roles and responsibilities, that's what it is, right? That means you need to be budgeting time to be doing this. And as I said, for all of us in these early stages or reflecting on where we are right now, customer acquisition is number one. So this marketing roadmap or customer journey we want to take people on, we have to nail it, right? And so this is why I invite you to one, map it out for yourself. Hey, this is my current business. This is what it looks like. And then subsequently, getting your customer feedback to fill it in. Ryan, I don't know when you did this one, but you could see an example of Ryan's here. Ryan, I don't know if you want to speak to this document. What was the experience like for you filling it out? Let me see if he's still here. Okay, he's not able to speak at the moment, but I vaguely recall when we went through this, and this is what I'm saying. You have to go through the exercise, right? One, do it yourself. You're able to identify the points, touch points, the key interaction metrics, and then subsequently, you know, bringing it to your customer and going through the process as well. So I will make sure everyone has access to this deck where you could go back to it. I think these were more examples. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment. And then, yeah, so these were the other examples that we had some folks fill in. But I will share this with everyone. I'm going to share with you all. I spoke to it a little while ago. So today around marketing. So I'll pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts before we dive into some tools to help you understand how to market more effectively? Okay. So I'll just keep going. So the tool that we're looking at currently, and I'll speak to the lead magnet shortly, because I think we have to know what insights to put on our stuff in order to attract, right? So this tool is called Answer the Public. It is I personally like it. It is a great tool to help you understand and do some key searches on your specific business or different things people might say. So does anybody want to give me their business as an example and I will put it in, or I can use one of the ones that I have here? Any keywords you think customers are using for any one of you?
Bookkeeping.
Okay, so we're gonna just do bookkeeping in general. Bookkeeping. We're gonna do English, Canada. We're gonna push search, see what comes back. So in the free version of the account, it doesn't give you access to everything, but it definitely gives you access to enough to begin doing some good work with it. So as you could see, Bernadette, the result came back at 3,653 searches for bookkeeping. I did all of Canada. So I think, yeah, country-wise Canada, but I'll show you down at the bottom sometimes, and this is where you could be optimal on your searching as well. So we'll begin analyzing this document here. So you see in terms of questions, okay, 110 key questions people are asking about bookkeeping, and this just indicates the level of which people are searching for them, right? So I don't know if you, Bernadette, had a time where you even went to Google and say, bookkeeping that will help me solve X, right? But that's the level of insight that we want to know. So this is it here. So what is it saying? The search volume is 14K, right? The cost per click for bookkeeping. So if you were to run ads, it's probably really high in this category. When you see the price point like this, what I oftentimes suggest to folks is get more specific versus just saying bookkeeping. You want to be able to say, bookkeeping Halifax, bookkeeping for Black women, bookkeeping, and speak to something. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But you could see some of the searches. So who can do bookkeeping? Who uses bookkeeping? Who needs bookkeeping? Who does bookkeeping? Who needs bookkeeping service? Who invented bookkeeping? So Bernadette, this ring here, and all of you we can do another company in a bit, but these are questions people are going to Google and asking. You could literally write a blog, and this is 110 questions, Bernadette. This is 110 blog ideas, so that you're writing it in a way that people can find you because you are the bookkeeping expert, right? So this is a really cool place that I will support to utilize. Will bookkeeping be automated? So people are now, and you could tie it, and I mean bookkeeping from this perspective, let's see if we see any business stuff. Everybody, look at how many? 10. So these are high searches. Everybody will bookkeeping be replaced by AI? Right? It's a common question. And so if the questions are being asked, we want to be part of that conversation, right? So I'll pause here before I go down to the next section. But Bernadette, for you specifically, do you have any questions based on what you're seeing here?
No, you're you're right. It's almost like what ChatGPT does similar, but doesn't give you these quite stats. Is what are people asking about bookkeeping? So this actually tells me what they are asking.
Yeah,
they're getting the information from chat. This is from another source.
And the chat can definitely help you identify keywords and stuff, but this is where I'm saying let's utilize other tools. At least from a marketing standpoint, we utilize not only chat, right? Like we utilize other tools to identify keywords, to look at different things in that way. So if you did the paid version, you could unlock more of them, right? So here it is in some more blog ideas and content ideas for you. So on this, let me see if it will go full screen. Sorry. So as it's loading, oh, is it? Oh, it's done. Okay. So as it's loading, I'm just gonna zoom out and I will, oh my goodness. Why is it broken? Okay, I will not move it too much. What is happening? Okay, yes, this is what I was hoping for. So here it is, Bernadette, for yourself, and you could change these questions as well, right? To fit your market, to fit your niche. Because guess what? When that female business owner is sitting at Google and putting in bookkeeping services, Google knows that they're a business owner, but you're also writing in a way to help and reach that person. So the question is, what exactly does a bookkeeping do for small business? What does and so you're wanting to include or expand. People are asking Google these questions, right? But you want to expand it and specifically also niche on your content, right? Because the objective in this communication strategy that we're talking about, and this ties into other forms. So you could write blogs, you could write posts, you could do a whole bunch of stuff if you knew what people were talking about, right? It helps to shape what outputs you're doing in terms of attracting new customers. So what are the responsibility of bookkeepers? What is the average salary for a bookkeeper? So these are some of the things that people who are looking for bookkeepers are asking. What are the 3 types of bookkeeping? What are the 2 main types of bookkeeping? Right? Again, a great insight to know what people are searching. So now when you write your blog, you're writing to answer some of these questions. And I said blogs, again, your content pieces, right? So the next section, we were looking at similar to the first one, but different, right? In terms of the output here, bookkeeping without a degree. Obviously, if you know, you could leverage this, a bookkeeper with a degree and a bookkeeper without a degree, if it matters to your clientele. I'm not saying so people might be searching this for wanting to be a bookkeeper. Obviously, you will understand that a little bit different. Bookkeeping for small business, look at the price of that. That's $22, right? But bookkeeping for small business in Halifax, or changing it to be able to you know, get the momentum that you need, the visibility that you need is important. Does that make sense for you, Bernadette?
Yes, very much so. Yep.
Again, this is just one tool that I'm showing. And again, we'll do another search to see what comes up for that, right? We did bookkeeping in general. What I will do next is bookkeeping for small business and see what comes up in that search, right? So this is just a general search. Comparison, so someone's looking here at bookkeeping and payroll courses. You may want to be writing stuff about bookkeeping and payroll, right? A lot of people are trying to get courses. So this, as I said, this search that is here, and I'll do for small business just now and see so you could see the difference. This search is very broad, right? Encompassing many points here. But these elements here, so I always laugh because this stuff here is what actually people are searching for, right? These are keywords, short form, and again, this again might be very broad for your clientele, Bernadette, but we will do bookkeeping for small business. And then you could see related keywords, right? Client bookkeeping solutions. Yes. So I'm gonna go to, I'll do one more for small. Let's see what comes up on this new search. So Bernadette, I would say you have three searches a day. Go in and play with different keywords, see what comes up, and you will be able to you should be able to utilize the content to help you position your brand to be found, right? The reason why, we have websites and there's no traction to our website is because the content on our website is not converting, right? And this comes back to the inquiry about lead magnets and things like that. I will just wait for this to load. It could just be my computer. I'll close this one. Any questions while this is loading? I don't know why it's taking so long.
Yeah, quick question. I would put that in. What are self-represented persons looking for when they're in court, about to go to court, or being served? That would be a good one for this search piece.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna stop sharing. Sometimes when multitasking on the device, it just goes even slower. So you're saying self-represented in court?
Yeah, what are self-represented? What kind of supports are self-represented persons looking for now? Opposed to like 3 years ago? What are they looking currently now for?
Is it, I'm just trying to, you would define them as self-represented
Yeah,
litigants or,
yeah, they are self-represented litigants because they can't afford lawyers, right? So they usually appear. That's my niche market because they're appearing anywhere, small claims court, everywhere, unrepresented and representing themselves, right? Because they
Mhm.
can't afford good representation. So it would be the self-represented market
Yeah, my computer for
because they
some reason,
self-represent themselves, right?
yes. I'm just going to do the search offline and see if that would come back.
Or maybe self-represented persons in the legal industry could be, right? Another name to add to that search link.
I'm just searching. Sorry, my computer is acting slow, so I'm just going to do
Okay.
okay, so what I will, let me see. For some reason it stopped. I'm gonna try to so I put self-represented litigant in here. You can see questions about and I would say for you, these are some key questions that you should be commenting, talking about who can, what can self-representative litigants claim costs? What are self-representative litigants? How do you say it?
Litigants.
Litigants, yes,
Litigants? Yeah.
my tongue. But here are some questions, right? That I would invite you to also use this tool to identify these questions that people are asking to work and comment on in that way. Let me see if I can, sorry, so what is meant by self-representation, how to demonstrate it, all of the stuff, right? Another version, similar to what I'll just go down quickly and then go to the other tool or the other thing that I wanted to share. A similar question there. And then it has what I wanted to share was, and I didn't see this so much for yours, Bernadette, because we did it so broad for bookkeeping as a whole. But what I will invite you all to do is make sure that you geotag your stuff, right? So for example, Canada, maybe it's Brampton, Mississauga. So as you're putting out content, yes, you could serve people in all of the GTA, but let's start getting city specific in our writing. So Bernadette, depending on where you are in Halifax, maybe you can reach people all of Nova Scotia. But what I would invite you to do is call out each city. It is very useful in that way, right? So that's one. Yeah, guide. Look, this is a search one, right? I'll stop with that one. So lead magnet. This will be a perfect lead magnet for you, Jacqueline. A guide for self-represented litigants in Ontario. You don't have to give them the whole house. You give them that checklist. And guess what? When you give people checklists and you give them a little bit of information, they like, tell me more. So now once you've built that page, that provides them with that checklist that you're going to give them. Now you create that email sequence where you're still talking to these people on an ongoing basis, right? So this, and people are searching for it, Jacqueline, right? They're doing it themselves, but they need help. So they're going to Google and saying, who can help me? Right? So this would be a great example for you to build out a lead magnet around.
Well, since I do grant writing too, like, and I'm really looking for grant, I did some sessions. Bernadette actually attended. Thank you, Bernadette. But one thing I did at the beginning, I kind of did like a pre-survey for people who were attending, and so people asked me questions. So these are just general questions that people would ask. So I can actually create like a list from that. What people are,
Yes.
information people are looking for. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so everything that you're doing, we want feelers, because that lead magnet, 2 o'clock in the morning when somebody is scratching their head, stressing about going, they're going to Google, and 2 o'clock in the morning, your lead magnet is working for you, right? So what I also did, and I shared this briefly, and this is why it's important for us to be utilizing blogs on our website or articles or however. So I put self-represented in courts and I just left it open. So as I mentioned, I think I talked a little bit about the Google AI overview. I think I mentioned something, but most people aren't scrolling down anymore. They're just using the AI overview to showcase, to help them answer their questions. So what do you need to know, right? You should definitely be writing a blog about this, Jacqueline. What do you need to know in a Canadian context? And it also has the deeper dive mode. But on this side, you will see that they have additional websites that you could go to get guidance, right? So this is where I'm going to come back to each of us. We need to be putting out SEO content, right? And SEO is just tied to search engine optimization. And that means you understand what people are putting in Google. So when they go to Google, they can find you, right? In simple layman's term as much as possible. Now, this top part here is now called AEO. Artificial intelligence engine optimization, right? So how you get here and how you rank is that you need, first and foremost, needing to produce content that the machine is also able to pick up, right? And I will share an example of us here, but again, it goes in deeper and it will also give additional resources, right? So we want to be writing for these. We want to make sure that we have lead magnets for these, which is very important. Oh, yeah. I'll put this in the chat for you. Take a look. Get inspired and make your own, Jacqueline. I'll put this in the chat for you. Yes. Because, and this is the thing. Sometimes when I meet entrepreneurs, they're like, I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to do any. Trust me, friends. If you're not sharing, somebody else is sharing, right? If they're even sharing bad information, they're still sharing and they're getting your customer share. So find a way to share as much information whereby you can have conversations with real people who need this type of service, right? So that's as it relates to marketing. Another tool that I would suggest to you all, AFIRS, I'm gonna just put it in the chat. And also SEMrush. This just really looks at analytics as it relates to your website, but they also have keyword abilities as well. I wanted to just do a quick test to show you all. So I think I did what is a virtual. because I've been using the virtual office example, right? So again, this is our own space that we're showing up. One of the things that I would say is for this question, and because we do not rank for this question, I will tell you, we do not have any blogs for this question. So guess what I did when I discovered that? We're writing a blog for this, this question. What is a virtual office address or virtual office, right? But if you do what is a virtual office in Brampton, let's see, I think yeah, so you will see sometimes what comes up is the sponsored ads is now ranking above the AI overview, or sometimes you will see the AI overview ranked above the sponsored ads, right? And so if you were to look here, you will see that in the first AEO, we are ranking, right? The first kind of search there. And again, it's because we have content about virtual address Brampton specific. This is why I come back to you all to share city specific stuff is very important, right? Yes, we want to sell to everybody across Canada. So then your homework is to speak to every city across Canada, right? Which is very important. So the only reason I showed you an example, we're not ranking for a specific question, and then I'm showing you that we are ranking for a specific question, right? So you probably wouldn't capitalize all spaces off the jump, but you have to start. I think that's my message. You have to start somewhere. So with the other tools, and I'll just pull this up quickly. For some reason, it's not allowing. Yeah, I'm not able to open it. I did put, let me see if I can just share I did share the links in the chat. 1 second. In the meantime, while I'm trying to search for this, any questions, thoughts, comments, I will try to answer. Anne.
Yes, I have one quick question in regards to, well, I think it's Jacqueline who does grant writing. If she can put her information in the chat so I can get that. And the last one that you said, I think it's AI needs to also find you. And I was trying to put them, is it REO or AEO for them to find you when you're doing these blog questions?
Yeah, so you're familiar with the terminology SEO?
Yeah.
So AEO is the new thing. So a lot of people are going to ChatGPT and other search engines for answers, right? So the
Yeah.
goal is the question is, how do I rank to be AEO, which is
Right.
AI engine optimized, right?
Right.
And it comes back to the foundational piece, at least the research that I've done and the reading that I've done thus far, we have to start with the foundational one first, which is SEO. Because what the AEO is doing, the brain of the AI, is pulling from the webs, pulling from all the data sources, right? So if you look at chat now, you will see that if it's connected to the web, it is pulling from the web, right?
Right.
And I think you were here yesterday when I was showing our competitive dashboard. It was literally pulling from our competitor's website. So it comes back to, if your website is not optimized to answer questions that people are now going to chat for, you're missed.
Right.
Right? So the foundational is let's go back to our website and ensure that our website is SEO optimized, right? And then from being SEO optimized, we now need to continually be producing content that is SEO'd.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
So for me, the marketing message that I want to share with each of you is we need to be SEOing, right? It is not a one and done. Our company here, we do offer SEO strategy as a whole. We give that to you. You could execute and implement it for yourself, but we can also do it for you, right? But it is something that is essential. And the piece that is tied to, if you are still using Google as your main search engine, you want to be Google optimized, right? And so being Google optimized means one of the pieces is that you want to have your Google business profile set up properly. And also you're putting out SEO content in that space. And if you're not familiar with everyone's familiar with Google Business Profile? Let me just show one as an example. I think I had shown ours. I'll just show it again.
I think you said, Chris, that it's Google business account.
Google Business Profile. Profile.
Profile.
Right, so it's this. This is your Google Business Profile. This section here, right? And where we want to be optimizing our content, as this is still loading. So one of the things, you could always block your elements around your home and stuff like that, but you want to, there's more that should be coming here. It's not loaded fully. More. Yeah, for some reason it's not showing the additional, one second. Yeah, I'll have to find it for tomorrow, but one of the things around when we talk about optimizing your Google business profile, we are looking at adding, products posts to this so that Google finds you, right? So that's where a lot of people don't have, and for some reason it's not showing everything that it normally does. I don't know why I have these. Yeah, I'll see if I can find some screenshots to show it in a different way. But yeah, I don't think everything is loading on my computer right now. But yes, that would be in addition to custom. Remember, we're in client acquisition. So this means whatever data points we're putting out, we want to make sure that we get in the mind and heart of people that are sitting at their device, whether it's their phone or their computer, and saying, I need help with X. And you come up in that search. So it is about really strengthening our digital game. And I've even shown examples. There's a lot of questions that people put out around Google virtual offices. We're on momentum and tracking to do more questions, more content. What I will say is that the ranking that we do have is because we've done the work, right? And if you post today, Google doesn't start showing up your stuff tomorrow. It sometimes takes time. So I always say, if you write a blog, make sure that you could come back and share with this group. Hey, I just wrote a blog. Like, post, follow, share, do whatever. Get a group of people where you're doing that cross sharing, because it will help with your overall analytics as you're moving. And that's what I have for you all today. Content matters. We have to have the right messaging, and messaging meaning the right words customers are putting into these search engines to help us do our job much better. And I hope this was helpful. If you have any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them before we hop off.
Always helpful. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Good
Very
one.
helpful. Thank you so much.
More great resources.
Hey, yes, thank you so much. And we shall see you all tomorrow, same time, same place.
All right.
We are
Sounds like a
very
plan.
grateful. Yes. Tomorrow we will be, let me see, tomorrow we will be talking about sales strategy. So let's come talking about when they come through the pipeline and they convert. Let's see what that looks like.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Take care.
Have a great evening.
Bye.